Ready, set, action.
So good morning, this is our second from last video. This was a math class. I'm with Tanya, my mentor again, and I'm excited to get on with this, my little debrief for this one. So this is on standards 6, 7 and 8. How did I do, Tanya?
You did a nice job. Pip has gotten in the flow of teaching, not overthinking himself too much. The kids are responding really well to his math lessons, and the flow is going nicely now.
Well, thank you very much for saying.
Okay, go ahead and read number 6.
So number 6 was candidate understands uses multiple methods of assessment to engage students in their own growth to monitor student progress and to guide the candidates and students' decision making. The guided question was, does the candidate use the proper assessment methods to engage students in their own growth, monitor student progress, and guide the candidate's planning?
Okay, one nice thing about our curriculum is each lesson has an exit ticket at the end. So what Pip did is he took the exit ticket from the lesson before, figured out what the holes were. Some of the kids were not understanding, and then when he did his math lesson the next day, went over those skills that were lacking. Also, he uses the pattern sheet to do it, and then whiteboards, partner share, thumbs up, thumbs down. And then at the end of the lesson, looked at exit tickets as well to see what the gaps still were in the lesson.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so the second guided question is, does the candidate use the data obtained from assessments in order to monitor student progress and guide planning to better meet students' learning needs? So that's pretty much answered on that first one, I think.
But it's following lesson plans with fluency practice that he taught with the concept development. So yes. So number 3 then. So
Okay.
it was almost the same
Yeah.
thing.
Does the candidate make proper accommodations and modify testing conditions for special needs students, including English learners and special education?
We don't have any English learners in our class, and special ed students are pulled out during math time. So they're actually with their math teacher. But he did,
But that's sort of not true, because when they do come back in towards the end, we do put them on iReady Math.
or they do fluency sheets. So they've been doing fluency sheets on there.
So there is some,
So
a
there's
tiny
about,
little bit.
there's 10 to 20 minutes they are in here, but they aren't part of the math lesson, but you're right.
And I don't technically have any part of what they do. I just have them in the class. Okay, so the next standard 7, planning for instruction. Candidates plan instruction that supports every student in meeting rigorous learning goals by drawing upon knowledge of content areas, curriculum, cross-disciplinary skills and pedagogy, as well as knowledge of students and the community context.
Yeah, so we're looking at the graded exit tickets pattern sheet. We looked
So the
at,
actual question was, does the candidate draw upon knowledge
yeah, so
and
you're,
appropriate instructional strategies and technical tools that plan instruction and supports each student in meeting rigorous learning goals?
Pip did that by using whiteboards and the document camera and then the partner share, the elbow partner share there. Did I hit everything?
Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
differentiation. Yep, sure.
Good job.
Next one was, does the candidate plan instruction that follows a logical sequence, moving from easier examples to harder and including explicit instruction of new concepts?
So following the exit ticket from the day before, Pip looked at the concepts that the kids needed to be reviewed. Our math curriculum is Eureka Math, so it's written where it starts with level 2 questions, and the last question is always a level 4 question, so that's your higher level thinking. So the curriculum already does everything for us, which we're lucky to have everything written out for us.
So it is following the natural progression. And then sometimes, I think in this class, we spent longer on the earlier part because of they struggled from the day before.
Yeah, my class is pretty low this year. So we've spent a lot of time
It's
on
our
a level.
class, actually.
A level 2, it's my class again now. Level 2 or 3 questions. I only have honestly one kid in here that's gets the level 4 questions. So I would say 90% of the time, 90% of the time do the level 4 questions, but sometimes we can tell the kids have had enough and we have skipped them.
And then so when that happens, I make sure the homework for that day is then adjusted to make sure that they're not covering ones that they really can't do. Okay, so our final standard 8, instructional strategies. Candidate understands and uses a variety of instructional strategies to encourage students to develop deep understanding of context areas and their connections and build skills to apply knowledge in meaningful ways. And the guided questions for this is, does the candidate use multiple instructional strategies to help students develop deep understanding of content areas and build skills for applying knowledge in meaningful ways?
So are you done?
Yep.
The module is multiplication and division, and the lesson that Pip did was the nines, because a lot of kids have issues multiplying by nines. So Pip did skip counting. He's taught them to write on the bottom of the sheet where they write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then skip count by nines, and that way when they're doing the fluency practice, they can go back to that.
The cheat sheet.
I was going to say cheat sheet. So skip counting, nines hand trick, which I didn't know until I became a teacher, but a lot of the kids, you can see them doing the nines trick, and then the 10 minus 1 strategy. And also when the answers for the nines, if you add them together, equal 9. And did I miss any? I think that was it.
No, that was all of them. Yep.
So they all have strategies, and I would say yesterday after the lesson, when Pip graded the pattern sheets, I would say only 3 or 4 did not get hundreds.
Yeah, and the 3 that didn't, one was, I think all 3 of them were purely, they missed, there was 1 was 2 nines was 19, and on there, that person had the cheat sheet, that I call the cheat sheet, on the bottom, where they'd done a nines out at the bottom, and they'd actually done that correctly, they just transferred it incorrectly up to the top. So I think they have it, it's just they've bit of,
No, it's huge. It's
small
from
error.
starting, now think about it, starting from the beginning of the year where they couldn't even multiply, and we're seeing our fact fluency test go up every day. Every day kids are getting hundreds on them and moving to the next level. So these are some great strategies.
So last question is, does a candidate regularly and effectively ask questions to stimulate discussion with the goal of helping students develop higher order thinking skills?
So Pip does do that. He lets the students read the question, gives them think time, then partner share time to discuss it, which is kind of nice than calling on somebody because you're always calling on the same kids. So this gives an opportunity for the partners to share what they know, to see if it's similar, and if we don't agree, then to discuss why we don't agree with the questions asking. And then he often lets the kids teach each other instead of him teaching it. So if somebody is struggling, he will ask a partner or a friend in the class to help and to show what strategy did you use, what strategy did you use, which is nice that they're showing each other, and they're a caring classroom. So
there was a great example at the very end of the video when they were doing the finger
the nines.
drill, and one of the kids could not get it. And
well, we just got a kid from Germany, so he's been here 2 weeks, and we're not taught any of these. Okay, so then.
Yeah, but the point was his neighbor was trying to help him, and he still didn't quite get it. So then one of the girls that in the class volunteered to help him. So it was a great class collaboration. It was really nice. It became a good bonding thing for the whole class.
And he finally got it,
Yeah.
which is really good.
All right, so that's the end of that.
That's the end.
So 1 more to go. Thank you.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
8 minutes.